Before Industrial Revolution, the economy was based in craftsmen and also in exchanges of agriculture goods. But later, the most rich part of America, New England, saw farmer products by Connecticut River, not only local, but also international relations with Europe. Either Europeans or Americans invested in machines and began to build factories. The first manufactured industry was textile. Who worked there were women and also child. During the 19th century, continuing with factories and industrial way, subdivision of labor, making operations simple and easy. It means Taylorism, the same method of Europeans' economy. They give the material for make unions in their own houses as an easy way to work and earn money. Later began to make it with factories and people migrate to the city.
Not only the wealth, but the independence and security of a country appears to be materially connected with the prosperity of manufacturers. Every nation, with a view to those great objects, ought to endeavour to possess within itself all the essential of national supply. These comprise the means of subsistence, habitation, clothing, and defence. The possession of these is necessary to the perfection of the body politic, to the safety as well as to the welfare of the society.
Odious factories, vulgar proprietors and their still more vulgar wives, and their superlatively vulgar pretensions. Dense population, filthy streets, drunken men, reckless women, immoral girls and squalid children, dirt, filth, misery and crime. Such are the interesting images which rise a busy throngs to crowd a brain. At the bare mention of the manufacturing districts, vulgarity and vice walk side by side. Ostensions extravagance on the one hand, battering on the miseries of degraded and suffering humanity on the other.
Although periods of industrial revolution are discussed between historians, we can focus in three different areas. The first revolution was the transport between 1774 and 1880, as we can see in the national transportation system in British Revolution in 1780. It became later for America. In 1862, they built railroad that will link east to west, using British designers' locomotive as launching innumerable modifications. By 1836, American manufacturers had stopped importing locomotives from Great Britain, based on James Watt innovations. But behind the advances of the first revolution, the second revolution was the creation and the spread of new sources of power, as for example the electricity that we need nowadays for survive. It can be used in three forms: heat, light, and mechanical. It was known as the War of the Current, protagonized by the Americans Edison and Westinghouse. The third revolution began in 1914 with studies of census and factory system, iron and steel production, but trained historians did not begin to devote sustained attention to American industrialization until after the First World War. Nowadays we are in a new technological evolution, the renewable energies, the power of water, wind and sun. All these are called clean energies without fossil power. Energy exists in many forms: kinetic, chemical, electrical, thermal, and light. Energy cannot be lost but only changed forms. The energy changes into another being transformed. Students learn about the function and the main parts of each kind of energy, and also how many energy is produced. In this lesson plan I only develop one of the clean energies, the wind energy. Wind power is the conversion of wind energy into a useful form of energy, such as using wind turbines to make electricity. A large wind farm may consist of several hundred individual turbines, wind turbines, which are connected to the electric power transmission network. Wind power as an alternative to fossil fuels is plentiful, renewable, widely distributed, clean, etc. Any effect on the environment are generally less problematic than those from other power sources. Now you are watching a simulation of wind power onshore. It means in the land, but it exists another kind of wind power, called offshore. Offshore wind power refers to the construction of wind farms in large bodies of water to generate electricity. These installations can utilize the more frequent and powerful winds that are available in these locations and have less aesthetic impact on the landscape than land-based projects. However, the construction and the maintenance costs are considerably higher. Currently, offshore wind farms are at least 3 times more expensive than onshore wind farms of the same nominal power, but these costs are expected to fall as the industry matures. Wind is a form of solar energy. Winds are caused by the uneven heating of the atmosphere by the sun, the irregularities of the Earth's surface, and rotation of the Earth. Wind flow patterns are modified by the Earth's terrain, bodies of water, and vegetative cover. This wind flow or motion energy, when harvested by modern wind turbines, can be used to generate electricity. Wind turbines, like aircraft propeller blades, turn in the moving air and power an electricity generator that supplies an electric current. Simply stated, a wind turbine is the opposite of a fan. Instead of using electricity to make wind, like a fan, wind turbines use wind to make electricity. The wind turns the blades, which spin a shaft, which connects to a generator and makes electricity. Modern wind turbines fall into basic groups. The horizontal axis variety, like the traditional farms windmills used for pumping water, and the vertical axis design, like the egg-beater style Darius model, named after its French inventor. Most large modern wind turbines are horizontal axis turbines, and his components are blade or rotor, which convert the energy in the wind to rotational shaft energy, a drivetrain, usually including a gearbox and a generator, a tower that supports the rotor and drivetrain, and other equipment including controls, electrical cables, ground support equipment, and interconnection equipment. The first activity for the students is thinking about why some states of America produce more wind electricity than others. They must explain their theories in front of the class. The second activity is related with the wind power resource all over the world. They have to write and demonstrate the reasons why each country invests more or less in each source of energy. The third activity consists in build local solutions for global problems. The first document will be Protocol of Kyoto, and the second will be An Inconvenient Truth, a documentary of Al Gore. They must take individual notes about the problem, and the last step is show them photographies about manufactured landscape by Edward Burstynski. When all of this was done, we will discuss as a kind of brainstorming, and we will write an essay together about what we can do for improving the environmental problem we are living nowadays. The last activity will be the demonstration of how wind energy can be transformed into another. The students will experiment with a fan connected in a plug using electricity, and then connected again into a switch without battery, using electricity, wind power, and mechanical energy instead of chemical energy.